Oh, you had to get the chair?
My heart is beating.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No.
So hard.
You did that all by yourself in your wrists.
Oh. I balanced it on top of my head. My neck took the brunt of the weight.
Oh my god.
No wrists. Lord. Okay.
Hello.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm Abby.
And I'm Shawna.
And this is Anxious.
And Afraid.
It's a podcast.
Where we talk about things that make you have chills.
Yeah. Or, get anxiety like last week we talked about plane crashes. And
It's one of our faves.
It is one of our faves. We do love a harrowing survival story. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of those on this podcast.
That's us.
Mm-hmm.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah. Take it.
But take it. Yeah. So, what's up? Things have happened.
I think I'm supposed to ask you first.
Yeah, that's technically what we do.
Okay. I feel like the last few weeks we've had the same thing, so we haven't gone.
You know what? I feel like I never ask you, and that's my bad.
How rude of you. But I'm still going to ask you first.
Maybe I have. I don't know.
You
I'm
probably
sorry.
have.
Please forgive me.
I mean, you don't have to apologize.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sure.
It's all on you, Abby.
I know. Shawna, what made you anxious or afraid? The people want to know how Mexico was.
I know everyone's dying to know.
And you're alive.
I am alive. Oh my God. I survived.
You survived.
Multiple plane rides. And let me tell you, they were scary.
Yeah. Despite me doing a plane crash story right before you left, everything turned out fine.
Well, no doors flew open, thank goodness. And that was something I totally forgot to mention in our last episode. But yeah, that's the thing that scared me the most. So if you haven't heard, like a month before I was supposed to go to Mexico, it was on an Alaska Airlines flight. It went out of Portland, which is PDX, which is literally the same airline and the same place I flew out of. And the door flew open at shortly after takeoff. And it was the scariest thing I've ever read. I was like, this is why I'm afraid to fly, people.
It was like the emergency panel or something.
The emergency door, in the middle of the plane.
Flew
away. People sit next to it.
That is so... I just don't... if that happened, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
It's the end.
This is how we die.
Right. I mean, everyone's fine, and they did an emergency landing and whatnot. But if the door had flown off when they were higher elevation, it could have been really bad. Yeah. And apparently, I mean, everyone, literally not just you, everyone tried to hide this from me. The more the news came out, because I was trying to avoid it, but also not avoiding it at the same time. But I know that they found more loose screws in other planes, which is absolutely unacceptable.
Not talk about that. Don't tell Shawna.
And we looked up. We had we were on the same terrifying Boeing model. They had the same door. We looked at it afterwards. Anyways,
have you heard there's even more recent stories about? There was just another one in Portland. I was like, what is going on,
Shut
Portland?
Up. I didn't hear about this.
They landed and realized a panel was missing on the plane. It wasn't one, I guess, that would have been open to the air, but it was just missing.
It's just a missing panel from a plane that shouldn't have anything flying off of it.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Boeing, we're going to have to respectfully ask you to get your shit together.
Yeah, they have gone downhill, and their safety is not their priority, and I know this.
Did you also hear about that guy? It's all still under investigation, but there was just recently a story of a former Boeing employee who was found dead in a parking lot.
Conspiracy.
There's a lot of conspiracies flying around because he was found in his car outside of a hotel. It was supposedly a self-inflicted gunshot.
Lies.
And he was supposed to have a hearing. He was a whistleblower. And he was supposed to have a hearing in June.
Get out of town.
But
wait, this happened in Portland? Is this the same person?
No, I don't think it happened in Portland. But I mean, if it was Boeing,
but it was a Boeing. Okay, but either way, it's a past Boeing employee. I can't speak. Oh my God.
Yeah, he had worked there for several years, and I guess he had issues with quality and the way things were being done, and they would just move him to a different part of the plant after he complained. It was
That's sus.
He could just be, he could have just been really depressed or something, but like
also that is very possible,
Yeah.
honestly, because he like if he knew too much, he maybe couldn't have handled it and he just wanted to go. I mean, totally possible.
And he had this whole hearing. I don't know. Maybe he didn't
Stress.
think it would go well. I don't know. But like the whole
Terrified.
thing, just because he was a whistleblower and then is found dead, you're just like
The coincidences.
conspiracies abound.
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 It's our new favorite word.
I don't think Boeing would off someone. They have so many lawyers. They would probably just bury them
Wouldn't it be
under
smart?
litigation and not murder them. But like it's just too like juicy to not think that maybe something happened.
I just can't get over the documentary I watched. I think it's on Netflix. John Oliver did a special on it, and there was a person with a camera who was asking like Boeing employees that like worked on the planes like to put them together, and they were like, "Would you fly this plane?" And like it was like 10 out of 15 said no.
Ew! Oh no!
It was and one guy, to make it even freaking worse, said, "Yeah, I would, but I also have a weird death wish." So that's like not okay.
No, we live kind of close. I mean, we are just one state away from Washington, which
That's
is
right.
where
I forget.
Boeing is
Headquarters.
I think it's in Seattle. They're based out of.
That's
and
very true.
We like work in the financial world. We do loans all the time for Boeing employees.
That's true.
And like inspectors, and I'm always like,
What do you know?
"Sir, are you doing your job? Maybe not." I don't know. It's all very strange.
Anyways,
It's
to bring it
stressful.
back to me in Mexico.
Anyway, about Mexico, that was our Boeing tangent. Our bad.
Our bad. But I mean, it was. I guess starting with Mexico was great. Oh my gosh, I had a great time. What an experience! The food was divine. It was so fun. It was very hot over there. So it was like a very hard trip. It's like very jarring, very different climate.
Yeah.
And we had our 2-year-old, and so it was a lot. It was very hard work, but it was like worth it.
Are you gonna talk about the Karen on the plane?
Oh my gosh. So yes, our first plane ride, I got really scared. Of course, my anxiety was building up. So I like started to cry. It's fine. I had to let it out. It's fine. And it was kind of early in the morning. We had to like wake up at 4:00 in the morning. So like Rylan had been up. We only had like a few hours of sleep.
Such an early flight.
And the first flight was obviously really scary for all of us. Like it was her first plane ride. And I was obviously anxiety off the charts. And so she did have her moments of screaming. Takeoff was really bad, and at least it was short, but she did it kind of often.
Yeah.
And we were obviously doing everything we could and comforting her, but yeah, we did have a Karen across the aisle from us who would just always look at us every time she would start having a fit, which it's my daughter. She has a voice on her, so she screams real loud.
She is, her emotions are audible. We know what she's going through.
Makes it known. So I get it. Like her scream is a little jarring, but man, it was all the time. And then Chad was just about to have it and was just like, can I help you? And Bob was like, oh my God, no. There's a Karen.
I love that he said that though, because
He was about to throw punches.
did it shut it down? Like after he said that, was she like, did she mind her own
Yeah,
business?
I think she kind of like was, oh, okay. And then like
Good.
didn't look. And then luckily another passenger guy next to us, like talked to us after that first plane ride and was like, don't let anyone get to you. I mean, she's just a kid. You guys are doing great. Like,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, thank you for saying that. It makes me so happy.
That's so nice of him. Like, who hasn't heard a toddler scream like that? That's just what they do. And there is like literally nothing you can do to make them not do that if that's what they're going to do.
It's public transportation. She has a right to be on there. It's her seat. We paid for it. So have headphones. I'm sorry.
God.
So yeah, there was that little incident, but it's funny on the way back. Okay. So obviously it was a little bit easier on the way back. The time was better, and we knew kind of what to expect with a plane ride. And Rylan did amazing. The second on her way back, she didn't cry at all. She didn't really realize takeoff and landing. She was just on the phone the whole time, living her best life. And I was so proud of her.
She's so great.
I, on the other hand, so our first plane back was a 3-hour ride, and it was back to LA, and it was the most turbulent plane. They kept putting the seatbelt light on. The attendant was like had a stern voice on the intercom, like, it is not safe to be up right now. You need to be sitting with your seatbelt. And I was like, this is really a little too intense for me. And I was like, oh my God, I can't handle it. And they're like, yeah, they even like warned us, we're about to hit this area and it's gonna be bumpy ride, so everyone needs to sit down. I was like, this is literally my worst nightmare. And Chad was a champ, and he always had his arm on me, and he's just like, it's okay, it's okay. And all I had to do was like hold the chair in front of me like with my arm, and when it started going boom, 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 and it like had those deep like feeling like where your like stomach
just
drops
goes into your butt.
Yeah, it feels like the plane is just dropping.
I hate that.
And that happened a few times. And I mean, I was silent, but I was bawling. I was like, oh my God, I can't handle it.
I wish I could hug you.
Oh my
in that
gosh.
moment.
Chad was even like, yeah, that was scary for me, but I could not show that to you. And I was
I
like,
have to be the strong one.
and apparently I kind of like, and it was a good like 10, 15 minutes of like that heightened kind of bumpy turbulence where I like just had to cry it out because it was just so scary. And there was a lady next to me and I noticed that she was like really intensely looking at me, like bug-eyed, intense. And I was like, oh my God, I'm scaring her. Or I didn't know. I was like, oh my gosh, she's really looking at me. And Chad noticed it too. But apparently he told me later, because obviously I was too busy, crying. But she seemed also to be very afraid. She was like holding a cross and like doing the prayers. And like, I think she was just like looking at me because we were both like terrified together. And she probably seeing me didn't help her anxiety because I'm just like gripping the chair for my dear life, bawling silently. But like so dramatic. It was so dramatic.
But hey, everything is okay.
It finally smoothed out, and then we got to land, and it was fine. But yeah, that was a hard one for me because of the turbulence. All the other flights didn't have that much turbulence.
I mean, people, I think, have a lot of empathy for others who don't do well flying because you're not supposed to be up there, okay? It's scary.
You're in a metal tube flying a gazillion miles an hour. It's not right.
Like, so many things have to go right for you to not fall out of the sky. So it's okay to be scared of a plane.
Yeah. It's just, like, looking back, it's kind of funny. It was just, like, a very dramatic moment. He kind of told me, like, more of her reaction afterwards. I was just like, wow. Just very dramatic and funny. I don't know. It was just a heightened moment. But I guess that's the story I kind of wanted to start off with, since I know that we always talk about planes and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any other questions about Mexico? Or should I say anything else about Mexico? I don't know.
I mean, well, we already talked about it a little bit. So you said like the food was great. The vibes were great.
Yes.
Even though you didn't have air conditioning.
We had fans. So, I mean, we survived. And it was hot during the day. And so that was like pool time. And that was great. And then in the evening, it did cool off really significantly. And I always loved it because I would always make sure I like stay up past everyone else, like everyone be asleep. And then it was just like quiet time for me at night.
Yeah.
And I was just out there. Like I didn't need to have clothes on. It was so warm and put my feet in the pool. It was so great.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Did you say you saw a big bug you were going to tell me about? Or do you want to save that story?
We can save my bug story for the end.
Okay.
Something for people to look forward to. I do have a Mexico bug story. It was not fun.
I'm glad that you had a good trip though, and that you survived the flight.
Oh yeah, and even though the plane rides were terrifying, a lot of part of me definitely wants to go back now that we like know what to expect and kind of like what's around that area. We like already want to go back.
I would too. Well, I mean, Jesse and I were really freaked out because you guys didn't have service.
We didn't, or at least my phone didn't for a few days.
Yeah, so the last we heard from you was at the Portland airport, knowing you were terrified of flying, and then we don't hear from her for literal days. And I was like,
sorry.
Checking the news. Okay, no planes went down. Like, I feel like we would have heard about that. And I was just like, Jesse, is she dead? Like, what happened to their family? Why are we not hearing from them? Like, surely there's a Starbucks nearby with like internet. And we were both just like, they probably don't have service. Like, I'm sure we'll hear from them. I even like reach out to your mom and be like, did you hear from Shawna? Is she alive? I'm taking care of her cats. Are these my cats now? Is it am I a new cat mom? Like, what is happening? And she's so just sorry. Like, I haven't heard from her either. I'm also kind of worried. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make me feel better at all.
I'm so sorry. I thought about you guys every day, and I tried to contact. It was mostly my phone, and for the first couple of days I was trying to text you guys, and it wasn't going through. And I didn't like see that until the next morning. And I wasn't hooked up to the Wi-Fi apparently. And that was my mistake. So no one helped me with the Wi-Fi for a few days. So that's why my phone mostly didn't work. But even with it, you had to be in like a certain part of the house for it to like really work. And then if you were anywhere not near the router, it was like so slow. And like we were kind of just like, all right, next, we're waking up early morning doing a tour, and it was like a very intense tour, or like, when we go out and do things, we don't really have reception to call. And so it was like, by the time we got home, we were so exhausted that we just wanted to crash. So like, that was the pattern for 3 days. And each time I was like, they literally think I'm dead, and I know this, and I feel so bad that we haven't tried to contact them. So finally I just took Chad's phone and I made the calls.
Oh yeah, and then the call coming from Chad's phone, I was like, this is Chad telling me that
Shauna's dead somehow.
Shawna died. He's calling me to inform me that he is now a widower. Hopefully Ryland's alive, but Shauna's dead for sure.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Or somehow in a Mexican prison. I'm not sure what she did.
Yeah, taken by the cartel. Immediately Shawna gets in trouble with the cartel. I would, wouldn't I?
You offended someone, I'm sure. But yeah, we're all very happy you're alive, even though you did get sick.
Yeah.
There.
I mean, I was kind of anticipating to be sick with traveling, but Ryland got sick like halfway through the vacation, so that was a little bit unexpected. That was really kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
And then it went to Chad, and then when we made it home, it came to me. And then we're in Death Valley, which is allergies all year round, all the time. And so I haven't really stopped blowing my nose since coming back, and that makes me really sad.
Yeah,
because I felt so much like physically, I felt so much better in Mexico.
It's so sad. It's so sad to realize the place you live is like your body literally just wants to not be here.
Just sneezing and clearing your throat all the time. It's kind of a bummer. Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, I never realized how bad it is until I leave, and I was like, "Wow, I can breathe."
Weird.
My chest feels clear and light.
My eyes feel good.
I can breathe through my nose just fine.
Well, the only other, I was going to tell you a story. So Shawna got sick, so she couldn't actually she didn't go to the baby shower for Jessie that we've been talking about.
Oh my God, this is the longest intro of all time. And why were you anxious and afraid this week? Sorry. This is me asking you. Sorry.
Okay, so there's this baby shower, right, for our friend Jessie. And it was for all intents and purposes cursed, I'm pretty sure.
Everything went wrong at every step. Just
at every step, something would go wrong or go missing, or we'd have to change it. So the last two things that went wrong, which are kind of funny. So one of them is I realized the day of that the photo backdrop I purchased was not with the stuff that I had bought. I have since found it, by the way.
Oh my God.
I knew I would.
So you had it the whole time?
I had it the whole time. I knew I was going to find it somewhere unexpected. And I found it still in the bag under, in the little basket of Theo's stroller. So
Of course.
That's where that was the whole time. So anyway, that was missing the day of. I was like, crap, we already don't have that much decor. We get there and I realized that we were given the wrong address.
No, I didn't know this. Oh my God.
So I get a phone
that was
call.
on the invite?
Yes. So I get a phone call from Jolie when I was almost there, and she's like, I don't know if this is the right place. This looks like someone's house. And I was like, no.
That's the worst mistake to have happen.
I was like, give me 2 minutes, I'll be there and we'll figure it out. So we get there and it's like a manufactured home, park community kind of place. And they have a rec room, a giant rec room that we were going to have the shower in. And the address they gave us ended up being a random old man's house just down the street from the rec room.
Oh no.
So it wasn't that far off, but it was definitely not correct. So I start panic changing everything. I changed the invite. I changed the physical invite photo that I had. I changed the address on there.
And we already had to change the date once. So
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And this is hours, maybe an hour before people are supposed to be getting there. So I'm like, okay,
Jesus
I'll change it really quickly. People won't even be looking at it yet, because they're not even on their way. So I'll just change it. It'll be fine. So we set up everything. We get it all going. 2 people still went to
oh no
this poor old man's house. And one of them was one of our bosses at work. And another friend of Jesse's, they showed up to this. He's new to the community. He's got a couple chihuahuas.
Oh no.
Single old man. And they're just is there a baby shower here? He's just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man.
So I'm glad he wasn't an axe murderer. They made it eventually, but it was just like so comical, all the things
That
went
is
wrong.
comical.
I did make a beautiful charcuterie board though.
You've made the most beautiful charcuterie board I've ever seen.
It was like, put that on Pinterest. Somebody needs to see it.
Pinterest level for sure.
And I don't have any interest in making another one, but now I know I have that skill.
Yeah, of course. Like you have all the skills. You can do anything you set your mind to, Abby. You know
Wow,
this.
thank you.
Welcome.
My hype woman. So yeah, that was
Well, you survived that. I mean, I was unfortunately not a part of the baby shower because I was part of the curse.
Part of the curse.
I was too sick at that point. But yeah, what a mess. But you did it. We did it.
I've lived with this curse for so long that I just power through.
You do. You know how to handle it.
Anyway, sorry for the longest intro.
We had to catch up. That was a lot. Wow. So sorry.
Wow. Maybe we'll put a timestamp in the
Yeah,
description.
I actually feel bad a little bit for
I'll be
this
like,
one.
you can skip to this time
If you don't care about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Michael, just note that so that
Editor, note it right now.
note it.
Note it. Okay, so am I doing my episode now? So are we just going to dive in?
I think so.
Oh, Lord, let's get this over with. Now, this one is actually one I've always been really fascinated with. It really bothers me. This one that I'm about to tell you
bothers you.
it bothers me because it don't make no sense.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those really popular true crime cases. I feel like it's been done a lot.
Okay.
You might recognize the name, knowing,
Yeah.
we do this.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how much you remember if you know it. But I needed to kind of do a little shorty since I went to Mexico, then I got sick, and now I'm moving, and everything's crazy. So, but a good kind of shorty to go to is like missing persons for me. And so I'm going to go back to this topic, and we're doing a crazy missing persons case.
Okay.
So I'm doing the disappearance of Brian Shaffer.
Brian Shaffer.
You don't know?
I'm trying to remember because I definitely have a missing persons on my list named Brian, but I think there's a few missing Brians.
Probably.
Sorry, Brian's.
I wonder if it's the same one.
It might be, but that's kind of fun too because then we can like speculate together.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, okay. I'm excited. I love a missing person. I mean, I don't. That's not how I mean it. But
We get it.
The mystery of it is
It's very odd. I try to always look for like the really bizarre or odd ones because it's just like, how in the world does someone like this go missing?
okay.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of start in the beginning. Brian Shaffer was born February 25th, 1979. He grew up in Pickerington, Ohio,
Okay.
which is right outside of Columbus. He graduated high school in 1997 and then went on to college to Ohio State University.
Okay.
It took him 6 years to earn his degree in microbiology in 2004.
Microbiology, another biologist.
I know, it's kind of cool.
2 episodes in a row.
That's true. I didn't even realize. So he totally graduated with that. Let's see.
Smarty.
Then he's very smart. Yes. His mom, Renee, was a nurse, and Brian was very close to his mom.
Okay.
Kind of a mama's boy. He decided to then follow in her footsteps, and so he began studying medicine to become a doctor.
Okay.
His mom sadly ended up developing a really rare form. I believe it was blood cancer.
Oh.
He would always be in the hospital with her as she would try to go through her treatments. So, like, unfortunately, they kind of had to, like, watch her decline for a bit.
God, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's a bummer. And 2 years into studying medicine, she ended up passing away in early March of 2006. Family and friends said that her passing was really hard on him, but he seemed to be handling it, fine.
Okay.
For the most part,
As well as you can.
Right. And you're in college and...
God, what a hard time to go through something. I mean, it's never a good time to go through that, but like in those formative years when you're just trying to like figure out how to be an adult.
Super young adult, college life, like you're the mama's boy. So it's like that's someone real close to you, like really significant.
Probably had to grow up really quickly.
Yeah. Let's see. He was able to still manage to cram all of his studies in and pull like all-nighters for the finals right before spring break. Brian also had a pretty serious girlfriend at the time. Her name was Alexis Wagner.
Alexis.
Yeah, a little bit Alexis.
By the way, this is not the Brian that I was thinking of.
It's not, you know for sure?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't steal anything from you then. It's good.
No. There is a very real fear that one day we will pick the same thing.
I feel like it's going to happen at some point.
At some point, it's gotta.
It's going to be hilarious, but it'll be fine.
That's the danger
We'll
of
see.
like surprising each other with a story and having the same interests.
I know, very true, very true. Okay, so yeah, her name was Alexis Wagner. They were planning on spending their spring break together with a week-long week-long trip to Miami, Florida.
Ooh.
This was also like a last-minute gift from Brian's mom, Renee, that she was able to give them. So it was a very like needed and meaningful trip for them to take.
Aw.
Friends and family also speculated that this was going to be the trip where Brian might have proposed to Alexis. They were like that serious, I guess.
Big trip.
Yeah. So, I mean, like crazy.
Yeah.
So sadly, we know this doesn't end in a proposal.
Yeah. By the way that you worded it, I was like, uh-oh.
I know. So it's a Friday night. It's March 31st, 2006.
Okay.
It's the very, very beginning of spring break. The last class just happened, and it's the evening to start spring break. He goes out to eat with his dad, Randy, and they enjoy a steak dinner together.
Oh, Randy. Dad Randy. That's so nice.
Yeah, Randy and Renee, two R names.
Aw.
That's cute. Randy said that Brian did seem pretty exhausted from all the schoolwork and all-nighters for the last-minute tests, that he didn't think he would end up going out with his friends that night. Well, he did, because
Okay.
you're in your 20s and you still go out.
I mean, you just got done with finals. The emotions are high. You got to blow off some steam.
Exactly, immediately.
Yeah. Celebrate.
So he still did, and he ended up meeting with an old roommate named William Clint Florence.
Okay.
And he goes by Clint,
Okay.
which is one of my least favorite names of all time.
Clint?
I hate that name. Sorry.
Random name
Not to
hate.
offend any Clints, but I don't like that name.
Clint.
It's too close to the other word I don't like.
Wait. There's two I'm thinking of.
Ooh, they're both probably bad C words for the area we're thinking. Yes.
One's not bad.
Well, they're not bad. Words aren't bad. I just don't like the sound of it.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know why we're like tiptoeing around it when we curse like sailors, but okay. This is the PG rated episode.
I know, very true. I'm just not going to say it.
That's fine.
You can if you want, but I'll hate you.
Clint
No, the name's fine, but yeah. All right. So,
Eastwood? Clint Eastwood? We hate him. Okay.
sure. Okay.
All right. He's enemy number 1 now. Got it.
Oh my God. We're offending so many people. Named Clint. Anyways. So he decides to meet up with his friend Clint, and they go to the Ugly Tuna Saloona.
That's awesome.
It's the greatest
Tuna
name.
Saloona.
Yeah. Ugly Tuna Saloona. It's so fun to say.
Saloona is what got me. I love that.
It's a great name. So they meet up around 9 p.m. that night, and they do the classic bar hopping. About an hour into the night, so it's around 10 p.m., Brian and his girlfriend Alexis are on the phone together. They're like having a normal phone call. They're talking about their trip that they're going to take on Monday. And they're going to meet at the airport on Monday because Alexis at this time was out of town visiting her parents for the weekend.
Oh, okay.
So that's where they were going to meet. The conversation was normal and relaxed, and they said their good nights and I love yous. And sadly, that was the very last conversation she would ever have with her boyfriend, Brian.
Oh.
It's really sad. I can't, I just put myself in her shoes, and it's just sad, devastating.
Yeah, like you're so excited to take this trip together. She's probably feeling giddy because she thinks he might propose.
Yeah, I think she kind of was thinking that too. And
Man.
they're just like a young, hot couple in love. And they're both, I forgot to mention this, she's also a med student. So there are oh my gosh, they're both med students together.
Wow.
So perfect little match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, they would have made really smart babies probably.
Probably. All right. So they have that conversation. The bar hopping continues, and Brian and Clint end up taking one shot each at each bar that they go to.
Oh, that's not that bad. Unless they were drinking more on top of that, but that's pretty honestly subdued for a college student.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that's doable. One shot each. I mean, I think they went to at least a few bars. I think it was like maybe indicated like 4 or 5 different bars. So I mean, like they're having a good amount of shots.
Yeah, I'm a lightweight. That I would be toasted after 4 or 5 shots, but
right. But these are
men,
like college men.
Yeah,
specifically.
Yeah, probably have been drinking. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing. Then they wanted to meet up with another friend of theirs named Meredith Reed. She ends up picking both Brian and Clint up, and sometime after midnight, they decide to end the night and go back to where they started, which was the Ugly Tunes. So stupid.
The Ugly Tunes Saloons. Got it.
Ugly Tunes Saloons. Yes, exactly. Okay, so they end up going there. They all go to the bar together for a last round. There was also a live band playing at that bar that night. So it's a very crowded bar. It's very loud. It's one of those bars with, live music.
Fun.
Super fun. But at some point, Brian is separated from his friends. And maybe he went to the bathroom. I don't know how long technically. I guess I'll tell you later. But it's 2 a.m. at the time, and it's time for closing for the bar. And Clint and Meredith are calling his name. They're like, hey, where did he go? And he's nowhere to be found.
So he went to the bathroom, has not been seen since.
I'm speculating. Did he go to the bathroom? I don't know. But
okay.
He just ended up separating from both Clint and Meredith.
Gotcha.
And, I guess the most reasonable thing you'd think of is maybe he went to the bathroom. Maybe he went to get another drink.
Maybe he ran into
maybe
someone.
He left. I don't know. But they were like, okay, so where is he? Where it's time to go. He never comes out. They're calling his name. They're calling his phone. He's nowhere to be found. So they're like, okay, that's a little weird. Let's see.
Did everyone just hear Roscoe burp? Because
was that a burp?
Yeah.
I thought that was a growl.
He just dog belched.
Oh, impressive. He's making some noise. It's fine.
Yeah. Sorry if you hear any random noises. Roscoe literally has no ability to be silent. It's not in his genetic makeup.
Okay. Where were we? So they're yelling for him, looking for him. They ended up assuming maybe he got too tired and ended up just leaving the bar, walking back to his apartment because it was only 6 blocks away.
Okay.
So it wasn't too far. So eventually, I guess it wasn't that weird. And after looking for him, they were like, okay, well, I guess he just took off on his own. And what's the worst? You know?
Yeah. He's so close to home.
He's a big adult guy.
Grown man. What's the worst that could happen? This is also what the aughts, the 2000s.
Is that what they're called? The aughts?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Right?
I just called them the 2000s.
The naughty oddies.
The naughty oddies. Oh, I'm learning terms.
Yeah,
it was 2006.
Okay. I'm trying to remember if we had a cell phone yet. This is
also, if you're
cell phones.
Early, yeah, I would say early cell phones. Also, this is before Uber.
Right.
I also had that thought, and I was like, ooh, when did Uber exist? And that was in 2009, which is really weird to think about. But yeah, it's not
I thought it was a lot more recent than 2009. That's wild.
It probably wasn't as pop. It probably took a while to get really popular because I remember hearing about Uber but not using it yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess. So I mean, I guess back in those days it was just taxis or walking. Or bus ride or. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just, I had to I don't know. I just had to put myself back in that time and I'm like, oh yeah, Uber wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Anyways. So yeah, I mean, obviously they're thinking what's the worst. He's an adult man. Mm-hmm. They just saw him. He must've just left. We got to go. So they left. Alexis, his girlfriend, tries to reach him all weekend long, but with no luck. But when Monday rolls around, she still goes to the airport and waits for him.
Oh man. Oh, that's so sad.
Can you imagine the anxiety of just waiting and that buildup of he's still not shown up. He's still not shown up.
No,
we're about to go to Miami for our trip
and
together.
You haven't heard from him all weekend, which I'm sure is out of character. Mm-hmm. That would be a mess. I don't even know if I would have gone to the airport. I probably would be calling his parents.
She was just so hopeful. I probably would just in case.
Yeah, that's true. Man, you're like, did he ghost me? Like, are we?
Yeah, like, is it me
Yeah.
or
Are we broken up? Is this how he's breaking up with me?
right? I just can't imagine the thoughts and the anxiety around that. So yeah, she still goes to the airports and wait for him. And when it's finally time to board the plane, Brian is still not there. So this is when she ends up calling his dad. And because that was something Brian would have never missed that trip. So they were like, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Missing
persons report is now made.
Okay.
So the investigation starts. Columbus, Ohio, where OSU is actually the city in Ohio that has the most security cameras.
Really?
Yes. So much so that it has more than the cities of Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Toledo all combined. And those are like,
why?
I do think there was like more crime.
Okay.
Maybe because it's also a university,
Yeah,
but
college
it's just, they really, it's really heavily cameraed there.
Surveillance.
Surveilled.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's crazy. Makes it even more infuriating to me.
Right, that he just disappeared
without
any trace.
So surely, because this is cameras abound, surely Brian is seen on some of these cameras. So the police go right to work. And of course, they start at the Ugly Tuna. Mm-hmm. So they are scanning all of the security footage from the Ugly Tuna. Brian and Clint and Meredith are all seen together riding up an escalator to the bar because it's on a second floor.
Okay.
So you go into a building, you go up an escalator, and then there's the bar.
Okay.
The camera says it's 1:15 a.m.
Okay.
Brian is wearing an olive green t-shirt, blue jeans, and white shoes.
Okay.
Brian is 6'2".
Okay.
He's pretty fit. Like, he has muscles.
Okay.
He's super good looking. Okay. I'm sorry. But
he's beautiful.
He is easy on the eyes. He has short, dark hair with the short, haircut. Mm-hmm. Super big hazel eyes, very strong jaw and chin. He has like those deep smile lines that we all love. I mean, if
Shawna's in love with Brian.
I mean, he's cute. Like, okay, so do you know Dylan McDermott?
Yes.
He looks like his younger brother or like son. He's very that good looking.
Like all American.
Very classic, good looking. Yeah. Like Brad Pitt vibes. Like, even if he's not your type, he's a good looking person. Like, dudes admit he's a good looking dude.
So he would stick out, kind of. Like, you would notice him.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you'd say average, but like he's a good looking dude.
You have to like pause and like take it in.
You're struck by his handsomeness.
Like, doesn't go unnoticed.
Time slows.
He's very tall.
He walks in a room and he just slowly shakes his hair out.
I start to think maybe he smells good. I bet he smells
probably
good.
smells really good.
You probably look at him and be like, yeah, he smells good.
He just has to do that whole like hand in the hair thing, and then just like everyone's pants off.
He's like, I do have that effect on people.
Sorry.
You can put your pants back on.
So, I mean, like, that's what this guy looks like, though. Okay. So, I mean, it's more intriguing to me. Is that terrible to say? But it's just like, I don't know, it makes it more like, what the fuck happened?
Sure.
I don't know. So then the security camera at 1:55 a.m., Brian is seen at the bottom of the camera again. It's right outside the entrance of the bar. And he's chatting with two other girls.
Oh.
Random girls that are there outside. There's also two security guards that you see that are like right next to him in the camera.
Are their pants all on?
Yes, they're all on.
Okay.
Yes, so everyone looks relaxed and normal. Brian isn't like stumbling. He's not acting obviously drunk. Mm-hmm. It just looks normal.
Okay.
Then he walks off camera in the direction of the entrance. So it looks like he goes right back into the bar real quick.
Okay.
So it's 2 a.m. that the bar closes.
I know. I was just thinking. So you said that the other two left around, and he was out there at 1:50 something.
Yeah, you see him on the camera at 1:55. They're all still there. They don't leave until closing time, which is at 2. But that's only 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's only 5 minutes.
It's only 5 freaking minutes.
Okay.
How is that I just don't understand.
And he went back into the bar.
He went back into the bar.
Okay.
because there's no other direction I think he could have gone.
Wait, but you said he was seen outside or he was seen in the lobby?
He was seen outside of the entrance of the bar. So like by the escalator again, like between the escalator and the door.
Okay.
That area.
Okay. So you have to go back up the escalator to get to the bar?
No. Sorry. So they're seen going up the escalator. Then there's like an opening and then there's the entrance of the bar. And the camera is looking right at the very top of the escalator.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they're seen going in. He's seen right at the entrance again off the side of the top of the escalators.
Gotcha.
And the direction he goes in, the only place to go is back inside to the bar. There's no other doors or directions. It's a closing to the entrance of the bar. So if he goes that direction, the only thing he's doing is going inside the bar.
Gotcha. I was like, well, if he's outside, he could have, gone somewhere else, I guess, if there's an escalator. But okay. So that's the logical choice. He's going back into the bar.
Right. That is the last time he's seen.
Oh, okay.
It's very confusing. The police are literally able to account for everyone who walks into that bar on camera, then also leaves out the same exit on camera. Every person they see going in comes out except for Brian.
I don't want to ask too many questions yet, but I really want to know, is there only one entrance and exit to that bar?
You are so reasonable and smart for asking questions.
As a white woman in my 30s, I do believe I can solve crimes. So
yes, I will get to that in 1 second.
Okay.
There's also, I'll mention, there's no extra persons on camera. There's like no one that appears to be in disguise.
Okay.
It's just who they see coming in is the exact people they see coming out, except for Brian, which is so weird.
So weird.
Yes.
Especially since they just saw him.
I know, 5 freaking minutes. I don't understand the 5 freaking minutes.
Very strange.
That's what really irks me. Okay, so there is one other exit he
Okay.
technically could have gone through at the time. But this led to an area that was fully under major construction. No person really could have gone through it. I know. Keep that. Keep it.
I'm gonna put it in my little pocket. Except for I don't have pockets because
We're women.
we're women and we're not allowed to have them. It's the worst. Theo gets bigger pockets than I do.
I know. Even Rylan gets pockets, and I'm like, why? You literally don't need them.
What are you gonna do? Put a wood chip in there, like
A leaf?
Yeah,
She always collects leaves. Okay. Police study all of the other cameras, also like from the other buildings that are near the bar.
okay.
No one even close to Brian's appearance is seen on any of the other cameras as well.
What the funk?
I know. It really seems as if Brian never physically left the bar area. So I guess this is one of the theories, but I don't know if I want to say it yet.
Okay.
I mean, it's just maybe, I guess I'll just say it later.
Okay.
Let's just take a break right now.
Okay.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
All right. So, okay. So you might be thinking, well, did he fall in the constructions area? Maybe
I
he
was thinking that.
I kind of knew you were. Yeah. So maybe he was like drunk, or maybe by accident he like fell through something, couldn't get out. I don't know.
Sure.
That's kind of what I lead to. But then, okay, so I'm sure we're not the only ones thinking that. The police then take cadaver dogs, and they're going in and around the building. They're even checking dumpsters and the sewage areas. There's no scent or trace of him at all.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I guess maybe do you trust all cadaver dogs?
I
Or-
mean, they are the best boys and girls, but
They are the best boys and girls.
I mean, there's probably a lot of smells, I would imagine. Like,
But they know what the difference is with like human remains.
oh yeah, definitely they would be able to pick that out. But like, were they able to pick up his scent? I wonder. Like,
I don't know.
I
But
wonder if they were able to track him from the bar. Like, were they? Because there's so many, people scents in there. I wonder if they were able to
Right.
pick them up individually.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, they freaking tried, and the still nothing was leading them to Brian.
Doggone it. They tried their hardest.
Oh, you sweet, sweet. Okay.
Idiot. Sweet, sweet idiot.
No. Okay. So
Okay, so the cadaver dogs are a no.
are a no.
Okay.
So if you remember, his apartment is only 6 blocks away from the bar. They check out his apartment, obviously, too. His car is still parked outside, and there's nothing amiss inside the apartment. Nothing looks to be touched. It was kind of exactly how he left it.
Okay.
Both his father, Randy, and his friend Meredith were asked to take a polygraph test, and they both passed. When Brian's friend Clint was asked to take one, he did refuse, and he did immediately lawyer up.
I mean, that's his right.
It's absolutely his right. And honestly, yeah, a lot of people pause here because, like, yes, your initial reaction is like, why? Like, sketch, sus, or whatever. But that's also something probably I would do knowing what I know now. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the smart thing to do.
Absolutely innocent. You need to lawyer up and not, I would do the exact same thing, honestly. And I don't trust polygraphs. Like, people don't, and as they shouldn't, because they're not known to be solid.
I mean, the court doesn't even trust polygraphs.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I wrote it as, like, it's something, but it's also nothing at all.
It truly, because, like, they saw him leave the bar, Clint, right? They saw Clint and Meredith leave the bar. So, like,
they're accounted for.
I feel like I would be like, well, clearly they're grasping at anything and trying to find someone to pin this on at this point. Like, I'm not going to let them have that be me, what I'm trying to say.
I mean, you're
I'm not
one of
gonna
the
let
last
that be
people
me.
to see him.
Yeah.
You of course, you would naturally kind of be a suspect. And I think if you know that, I would be nervous too. And of course, like, I would want all of the protection I could get.
Yeah. And
You
if,
know?
I mean, and if they cleared Meredith and they left together,
Sure. Yes. You're good point.
like, and what is he going to have done in 5 minutes?
You're
And
right.
There's no cadaver dogs picking up a scent.
Sure.
So, yeah,
Good points.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah. It's not really that weird.
We don't like your name, Clint, but we do respect you.
We
and
do
your
respect your
choices.
rights. I think I only heard on one podcast that there might have been a disagreement / maybe altercation between Clint and Brian that night.
Okay.
But again, you know, that's only 5 minutes time.
Right.
What would have really happened? Like, the only thing I can think of, like, oh, did he push him down the construction site area and then leave? And
Somehow.
but
Yeah. How would that not have been witnessed? Like,
still, the dogs didn't pick up a scent. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's tough. I'm also not sure, like, how true that is,
okay.
that there was an altercation or maybe just even a disagreement. Like, I don't know.
That's allowed.
It's allowed.
You can have a disagreement and not
I think it's
murder
just people.
someone.
Yeah, I think it's just people maybe, like, kind of grasping, like, oh, he is more involved or knows something. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, there's also the 2 girls that were last seen talking with Brian, like, right before he left.
Yes.
Or back into the bar.
Probably mesmerized by his smile.
His good looks.
Yeah.
But they said that they were never talked to by the police and weren't asked to take a polygraph. But maybe that's because it really shouldn't matter.
It was such a quick interaction.
Yeah,
It
like,
didn't look
what are they going to
suspicious.
know? Yeah.
But I mean, it would have been interesting to, well, maybe you'll say, but like what they were talking about or like.
True. I think I kind of sorry, I don't know, like, which exact podcast it was because I listened to a few, but yeah, I think they was just like maybe kind of a flirtatious, nothing serious,
Yeah. Cute.
back and forth.
Cute young people at a bar.
You're young people at the bar. You're gonna and
Shooting their shot.
it doesn't seem like anything serious or important, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, good points. Back to Alexis. This is why it's so sad hearing her side of it. But she's devastated. Obviously, she lost the love of her life in her early 20s. They were gonna, like, start their life together. Terrible.
Just like not knowing what happened.
Not knowing is also just so infuriating. I would hate it.
How would you not think about that like every single day? Like what
Oh, for sure.
happened?
For sure.
What would my life have been like?
Well, one heartbreaking detail is that one of her ways to kind of cope or deal with it, as the months and weeks were going along, she was calling Brian's cell phone number every night,
Oh,
but it would always go straight to voicemail.
yeah. Just to like hear his voicemail.
Yeah,
sad.
probably. That's sad. Okay. But then this is weird. So 6 months later, in September of that year, 2006, she calls his number, and for the first time ever, it rings 3 times. And so that's like the best sound she's ever heard. She's like, even though no one answered, it gave me a slight possibility of hope.
Oh, that's so eerie.
Because that means like the phone had to have been turned on or
Right.
working, like not dead, right? Right?
When his number not disconnected, or like maybe they kept paying for it just in case?
Ooh, good question. I don't know.
Because you'd think they would.
I would just assume it would die, or he would, you know.
I mean, but like your phone, like if you don't pay for your phone bill, like if you're not using it, wouldn't they get disconnected? So
Maybe they were.
maybe they were still paying
Just
for it.
yeah, maybe just for the hopes that he still had it.
Weird.
Anyway, so this happens, and it's weird. So this means that the phone was able to ping a nearby tower.
Oh yeah.
So this tower was 14 miles or 23 kilometers away from the city of Columbus.
Okay.
So it's still in Ohio. However, the cell phone provider at the time explained this as an unfortunate glitch. Like they don't think it's anything. It didn't amount to anything. It's just like a fluke, terrible thing that happened that kind of gave him hope.
Yeah. What the heck?
It's just a weird detail.
And
like-
how is it a fluke if it run?
Especially 6 months later,
Yeah.
right?
That's weird.
It's very weird. That's why I mentioned it.
Tell me where that tower is. I'm going looking.
Okay, so Randy, the dad, who he just lost his wife to cancer.
Oh, you're right. And then his son. Oh, poor Randy.
And now he's literally searching for his oldest son 1 month later. If you didn't put those 2 dates together.
Dear God, that's devastating. Oh,
Your
man.
wife and your firstborn
Oh, Randy.
in such weird, like, not, I guess cancer isn't weird, but that's traumatic. And then this mystery of like your son disappearing without a trace.
Oh, that poor guy. There's just like no time to process.
No time to process. Oh man. I can't even imagine. Okay, so he's determined to find his son Brian. And so, I mean, I would probably do this too in this situation. I would go to a psychic.
Yeah.
Just for anything.
Yeah.
Just in case they were right or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while they can turn up something that hasn't been considered, or
I do believe some totally have good intentions to work with police and people like this, but it also bothers me because I feel like also not.
exploitative. Some of them. I know there's so many stories of ones that gave people false hope, or but then there's also other ones that like help solve crimes. I'm like, what
And
is
that we're
this world?
right. Yeah. So you never know. So I
Yeah.
guess I would definitely take the chance and just,
If
you
you're
know who you
coming up
are.
empty anyway, I mean, you might as well see if there's something out there.
Yeah, that's true. So, and I also like kind of think this is the stereotypical thing for a psychic to say. But of course, when he goes to a psychic, they're saying, oh, well, I see that his body is in a body of water near a bridge. I just always feel like they're always saying they're in water.
Yeah.
Is that just me?
Man, I don't know enough, I guess, to have a definitive opinion.
You haven't listened to many psychics in your life?
I have listened to a few. The first one was that seaside lady that we went to.
Oh, yeah, that's the real one we went to.
She was wrong.
Yeah, I watch Sylvia Brown a lot. She wasn't always right.
Yeah.
I watch John Edwards sometimes. I don't think he's the best.
John Edwards?
Yeah, remember John Edwards?
No.
Michael
does.
He's
He's like super fan over here.
It's during the like talk show times. It was the times. Anyways, yeah. I just feel like that's always something. That's like the stereotypical thing psychics say.
It's
I
very
think
vague.
it's very vague. You know,
Yeah.
body of water, which is also really hard to search through.
Yeah, that's very true. Like it's hard to prove them wrong because
And you're obviously not specific.
yeah,
Or
which
maybe
body
they
of
were,
water?
but yeah. Anyways, so they run with this because what else are they going to do?
Sure.
They were going to try everything. So Randy and then his only son left was named Derek, and he's just slightly younger than Brian. Sorry.
Okay.
So they would search the shores of the river together themselves on their free time.
Wow.
They would get like those big like rubber pants and just like walk through
waders?
the river.
Hip waders?
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Yes, I think you're right.
Big rubber pants is funny though.
Big rubber pants.
Gotta get my big rubber pants on.
Yeah, but I mean, just sad to have to do that on your own
That is
time,
a really depressing.
looking for any sign of your son.
Oof.
Anyways, so they do that. It's heartbreaking, but of course, nothing turns up.
Okay.
Then, just 2 years later, okay, things get worse.
What?
It's September of 2008, and tragedy struck the family again.
What now? Poor Randy. Is it Randy?
There was a massive windstorm, and Randy was outside trying to clean up fallen debris.
Oh, Randy.
When, in true freak accident fashion, somehow a tree branch flew, and fatally hit him.
Randy, no. What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that family has a curse on them, I think.
I would be scared because that's 3 traumatic ways to go.
And they're also different.
Also different, and all within like 2 to 3 year span of time.
God.
Like just that's
Tree branch. Like
a tree branch, probably like hitting his head, I assume.
yeah. Oh my God, that's
And
awful.
his body wasn't found until the next morning.
Aww.
It was just laying outside. So yeah, can you imagine being Derek, the last
No,
one?
Poor Derek. My God. Like, wow.
His entire immediate family gone within 2 years. Gone in such crazy, weird, traumatic ways.
How do you even like tell anyone about that? Because that just sounds
So much therapy.
Yeah.
I would also be like scared if I were him. Like, I would feel like you would be like in Final Destination
I know. I was just
in
about
real
to say
life.
Final Destination. Like, so.
It's coming after me. What weird way am I gonna go?
Yeah.
He's alive and well, but
Oh, good. Okay. He made it.
like terrible. What a terrible.
From such a young age too to have to deal with all
Yeah.
that. Oh God.
He was like mid-20s.
so sad.
That's I just can't imagine that poor guy. Yes. Okay. So a few more weird things. Randy's obituary was posted online on a forum where people could comment on it.
Okay.
And there was a comment that popped up that was weird, and it said, "To Dad, love Brian," with parentheses saying U.S. Virgin Islands.
What? That was the whole comment?
That was the whole comment. And so obviously police had to still investigate it. I guess
Sure.
that could be a place that he could go with just his ID on hand if he were to somehow escape and start a whole new life. I don't know.
That's
Every
so
possibility
random.
at this point
Okay.
is possible.
Like, why?
Why though? Yeah. So, I mean, they tracked the IP address pretty quickly, and the comment was from a sick person close by in Ohio who just thought it was funny.
See, that's why all of these like red herrings are almost always just red herrings, because people
I don't get people.
suck.
I do not understand taking time out of your life to purposely do something so shitty like that.
Knowing it's going to cause someone who's already gone through a ton of shit more pain.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna, even if they're like, that's probably not real, they probably have a tiny kernel of hope. Like, maybe.
Sure. And like the police still have to investigate it. So you're just wasting their time and money and resources. And like, yeah, you don't think about the family. Like, that's so sick.
Yeah. And they are asked why. And they're just like, oh, I don't know.
I just thought it was
funny.
just a Friday night. I don't. Yeah, our voice.
That's what they sound like.
That's what they, yeah, bro.
Oh, God, that makes me so mad.
Yeah, I do not get people, and people do that a lot, and it's really weird. And you shouldn't do that.
No.
So there's also a brief period of time where police investigated the theory that Brian fell victim to the smiley face killer.
Oh.
Does that ring a bell? Yeah.
It does.
So I guess the MO for that was young college men that were found killed and left in bodies of water. If I'm remembering it correctly, I'm not
that sounds familiar.
super familiar with the smiley face killer.
But I think, yeah, it was young men.
Yeah, it was young college men. So he kind of fit the profile. But if he was one of the smiley face killer victims, he would be the only one whose body wasn't found. And
Was it even in that area? Was that where he was operating in?
I think technically the smiley face killer was across a few states. So it was in line. It could have been in line with that.
Okay. I can't
path.
remember if there were the trucker or not. There's more than one trucker serial killer.
Yeah, it's probably a trucker. I also heard that. I don't know. You should look into the smiley face killer. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
it's actually on my list, but serial killers are
It
always
does-
so daunting to try and
I'm
cover.
not sure they even found the smiley face killer, or
I think
if
you might be right. They might,
they think that he doesn't exist.
or maybe there's connecting cases that don't actually connect, kind of thing.
Maybe it's just a coincidence that there's smiley faces painted by these. I don't know.
Something to look into.
Something you should definitely look into. Not me, but you.
You're like,
You should
I'm
do
not
it.
going to be doing that, but you should do it.
You should do it.
Okay. Michael's probably looking at the Wikipedia page for it as we speak. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
I knew
You
it.
knew it. Anyway.
Wait, do they exist?
Do they exist?
I just started reading.
Okay. We'll get back to him.
Okay. Okay. So even the FBI looked into this theory and they got involved and they determined themselves that Brian's case wasn't related. It just didn't seem to fit enough. So they don't think it's related.
Well, they also don't have like a body, so it's like
Yeah, that's also true. Like that sucks.
They can't even say that he's dead technically.
Yeah. Ugh, I hate it.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then Clint's attorney named Neil Rosenberg decided to contact the private investigator that is working for the Shaffer family. His name is Don Corey? I don't know.
Does it end in 2 T's and an E?
Yes, ETT. So
Are we going with the French pronunciation or American?
Yeah, I don't know. It's both. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, regarding why his client Clint refused to take the polygraph, he already told the police. Or no, do I want to read that?
It's free country. You can read it.
Okay. Let me see. I might just repeat it a little bit later. Anyways, but he was saying he already told the police all that he knew, and he didn't see the value of retelling it.
Okay.
Which I guess I can also get, but whatever. So Rosenberg himself then said he had a reason to believe that Brian was still alive because he learned that the Columbus police might think Brian is still alive. That's what he's saying, not the Columbus police. So it could be, I don't know.
Huh.
So he's quoted, "If Brian is alive, which is what I'm led to believe after speaking with the detective involved, then it is Brian and not Clint who is causing the family pain and hardship," Rosenberg wrote.
Okay, so that's the lawyer saying that.
Yeah, that's Clint's attorney.
Okay.
And he continues to say, Brian should come forward and end this. So, hi, truck.
There's a big fat truck outside. Sorry, there's a bunch of Brads, Chads, and Trevors that live next door to us now.
Brad's, Chance, and Trevor.
And they all have trucks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a weird thing for the attorney to say if that's like going directly against what the police are saying. Unless they're holding back information.
They're holding back.
Oh.
So, yeah, I just don't. It's coming from the attorney, so that I just wanted to make that clear. So it could be just him saying it,
Sure.
I guess.
To like take the heat off of his client.
Yeah, I mean, he's just fully saying that it's Brian's still alive and it's Brian's fault for putting his family through this, not Clint.
Okay, well, if that's not true, that's a very shitty thing to say.
Very shitty.
Like, excuse me, sir.
I know. I don't like it. Derek is quoted, "I've always thought he definitely knows something. He just won't come forward with it." So Derek, the brother, does still kind of have hope that Shaffer is alive. But so then he's also quoted, "If Brian did take off somewhere, if that is the case, we just always had a strong feeling that Clint wouldn't possibly know that." So
Clint would know that?
yeah.
Oh, and that's why they're suspicious of him?
Right. And that Clint is still holding information if he knows where Brian is, or if Brian wanted to vanish, escape, start a new life, he knows it. That's what his brother is. His outlook is kind of at.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, would Brian run away? Oh, I guess. Okay, I forgot to mention this too. So the theory of Brian possibly running away to start a new life gets fire because
In a bad way or a good way?
I'm sorry. Fuel to the fire, I should say.
I was like, because like Gen Z. Well, maybe they don't say fire anymore, but it
I'm
used to
really
be a
showing
good-
my age.
It used to be a good thing.
I know. I still call things fire. Cringily.
That's probably gross to say now.
It is very cringe. Sorry, but fuel to the fire, I should say, with this theory, because I guess, in Brian's old social media days when it was MySpace,
Sure.
youngins,
Top 5.
there was
it.
top 5. Was it top 8?
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Maybe it moved to a top 5. Yeah, it was a glorious time in the internet where
You could rank your friends.
you can rank your friends, post on a bulletin,
Have a song.
This is where how we all learned how to code and make our own profile themes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on Brian's MySpace, I guess there's record of him saying like how much he loves like the tropical lifestyle, and that's like what he strives for. He wants to actually start a band and like play Jimmy Buffett kind of music.
Okay.
And he, I think, also said online before that, which is really kind of funny. But he was like, yeah, this doctor thing I hope is really temporary. Like, it's not my main thing. I want to start a band and live the best life.
Doctor is not a casual thing to pursue.
I know. I was like, wow, what a thing to think casually of. Just massive amounts of money in school for a doctorate.
8 to 10 year endeavor I'm going on. It's just my backup plan.
I think he was like maybe thinking, or I guess if you're going this route, if you have that mindset, like get rich quick, even though it's not quick at all.
No.
And you have so many bills to pay after that. But and then maybe retire early and live the, tropical island lifestyle. Like who wouldn't?
Sure.
Who everyone dreams that.
Yeah.
But anyways.
But he could just be saying that like those are his dreams.
Yeah,
like,
it honestly could be a joke. People don't know how serious to really take it. But I guess they kind of grasped on that part of it if they think he did just wanted to start a new life or whatever.
he's like playing the bass somewhere on the beach.
With long hair. I would hope so.
That just made me think of like that scene in Barbie when Ken was just serenading her with that guitar, and it's the most cringy, awkward
the
thing.
best scene of all time, actually. The best. Great movie. Okay, so Alexis, the girlfriend, also thinks that Clint is withholding information, but she does believe that it's more likely that her former boyfriend is dead because she's quoted, I can't imagine he would have just done that.
Yeah, it's so sudden.
The timing, people think like maybe he was so grief stricken about his mom and school was maybe too stressful, snapped.
Sure.
I mean, but like I feel like that's drawing so far.
There's just no indications. Like
Yeah.
you would want to pack stuff. You would want to
Have a passport maybe.
I'm sure your credit cards would be tracked. Like how do you
And obviously throughout the years and months they check his accounts. There's no activity.
Yeah, see, I just feel like he would have withdrawn all the money he had.
I mean, at least, right?
Yeah, before that. And why would you go out drinking all night to then leave when you're exhausted and
And why would you miss a paid vacation from your, deceased mom
right? Like
that you're so close with? Like
and it was gonna be in kind of a more tropical location.
yeah, like he was looking forward to it because he is into those vibes. Like, duh.
It's just I don't feel like he just left and disappeared.
Me neither.
In my personal opinion, but like
Penny.
Sorry, that's a Heather thing.
I love it.
Hey girl, I stole that from her. But yeah, like, and he didn't have any indication on the phone with her that he, like, it was some last conversation.
I don't think they were having like problems or fights. I mean, they were literally thinking he was going to propose.
Yeah, but then it's like, what happened?
Honestly, how does a 6'2" guy vanish within 5 minutes inside of a building?
That is so bizarre. And like, they must have checked the security footage in the surrounding areas just to see like if he popped up anywhere.
I mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, so what?
I don't understand it.
It's so bizarre. Like
in a city, like he's not seen anywhere else in the city.
Right. And it would be hard to overpower someone that size.
True. So I do lean more like accident. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, well, why didn't the dog smell him? Or like, I believe that the Ugly Tuna is now closed since like 2018, I think. I think they would have looked.
Oh yeah, and like during the rest of construction, you
You would notice
found something or smelled something,
unless you found him and then wanted to cover it up. But then like, why?
Yeah,
you're not the government. Like, just kidding. There's no. Yeah, I mean, bad rep, but still, like.
So are we going with aliens or?
I'd rather go aliens, wouldn't you? Yeah, like
he got abducted. That's the only logical answer.
This is why it bothers me so much. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, especially since we see him on camera and then there's just no trace.
It's one of those stories that just drives you insane.
Drives me insane.
Trying to think of what the F happened.
Uh-huh.
When there's so few options.
Right. So Columbus police say they do have 3 theories on what happened with Brian, but they will not discuss these theories in public.
Then why even say you have 3?
Right? That's annoying. Now we know that there's 3 options.
Now I'm just having to wonder what the 3 are.
Right? I'm so curious, but I'm sure there's a reason. I would hope there's a good reason for not discussing them.
It's also frustrating because in cases like these, there's always more information that they just don't release because if there was a killer or something, like they have to save that information.
It's true, and I get it, and that sucks.
Yeah. Like, who am I? I don't deserve it, but the information. But I want to know.
Sure.
I understand why they can't release it, but it's just so frustrating.
It's frustrating. In 2019, real quick, we're almost done.
Okay.
There was an American homeless or houseless, I don't know, PC version.
Oh, what is the PC now? I think it is
houseless. Is it house?
I think it's houseless. Unhoused.
Unhoused. Thank you.
I think that's the right one.
Look at us. Okay. So there was an American unhoused man found wandering in Mexico. The FBI was informed. They were able to track him down in some way. But in the end, they were able to use facial recognition to officially determine that it was not Brian.
Okay.
But I guess he looked a lot like him.
Oh, okay. I was like, why was the FBI caring about some random man?
I guess, because
they
strong jaw.
It's that dang jaw.
However, I guess there's 2 marks on Brian that are really distinct, and that's one of I forget which eye. I apologize, but there's an eye that has a very big fleck in the color part of the eye. So they mentioned, so they mentioned that detail, and he has 1 tattoo on, I believe, his right arm of the stick figure from Pearl Jam's album Alive. So I guess those are the distinct features that are kind of on his flyer to look out for if you see it.
Dang.
As of this year, 2024, it's been 18 years since Brian has disappeared. He would be 45 years old today.
Wow.
He was 27 when he vanished.
God, that's so sad.
It's so sad. I don't understand.
And there's no way I feel like he would have stayed disappeared, especially after his dad died. Like,
yeah, he still has his brother. Like, why wouldn't you want to be in contact with your brother? I don't think he's alive.
I don't either, which is really sad.
But I don't understand how we don't have his body.
What the heck?
I don't understand.
What happened? Like, what the fuck happened?
I feel like over the years, I will probably keep Googling this one just to see if there's any updates. Because obviously there was this 2019.
Yeah.
I guess little update. But I mean, gosh.
In this day and age, there's been a lot of cases solved that no one ever thought was going to get solved. So you just really never know.
But then, you don't have DNA or anything left from him.
Maybe they'll someday randomly find a body and it'll be his. But I don't know why or what happened to him or what. It's a hard one, Shawna.
I know it's very infuriating, and I'm sorry, but that's all I got.
Thanks for ruining my afternoon. I'm going to obsess over what happened. My wheels are spinning.
Yeah, this one really bugs me. So I'm curious to think what other people think. But yeah,
what are your thoughts? What are your theories?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Brian and fam.
Oh yeah,
that's really sad.
It is really sad.
Well, okay. The end.
All
right.
Do you want to hear my cockroach story? It was a cockroach.
You're right. I was looking forward to the cockroach story.
Just to break this bummer of a story up a little bit.
Tell us all about it.
So we saw a few cockroaches in the house, which, I mean, whatever, it's Mexico.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, cockroaches love to be everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I wasn't like scared of them. I saw them a couple times on the floor, whatever. However, I did not appreciate when one of them decided to crawl on my arm in the bed at like 1:30 in the morning.
Could you see it? Was there lights or did you just feel it?
Ew. Okay. So.
Ew, my hair just tickled my neck and I freaked out a little.
Oh my God. Okay. So I like just got into bed because I was like doing my outside calm thing. And then it was like 1:00. I decided to go to bed. The lights are out. The fan's going. I'm trying to like shove Chad a little bit because he's snoring a little too much and I really want to fall asleep. And so I have my arm across, a baby's in the middle of us. We're all in the one bed. It had to be that way. So I have my arm across her and then my arm touching Chad's shoulder. And I'm just like kind of just barely trying to get to sleep. I'm like about there, you know?
Oh, yeah, in that kind of hazy state.
Yes. And then all of a sudden I feel the most disgusting crawly bug, which ended up being the cockroach, crawl across my arm. I flew my arm up, not knowing where it was going.
I feel like I just got a phantom tickle on my arm.
And I scream. I'm like, "Ah." I was like, turn on the light, turn on the light. And Chad just like jumps out of bed so confused. And he's like, okay, light. And then I'm like, where is it? And it was crawling on baby's blanket you made her. She was still cuddled, even though it was so hot.
Oh.
She still had to have that blanket. And it was crawling on the blanket. And I was like,
dare that bug touch that blanket?
I know. I was like, oh my God, it's on the baby. And so then I just take the blanket and I fling it off. And
Sorry, Riley, we have to burn this now.
It flies into the hallway and then they like, broom it outside. But like I woke up the whole house. The moms coming up from their bed. They're like, what's wrong? Oh my God, what's wrong? And I'm like, a cockroach. Then Chad's like, they're like speculating how it got on the bed or whatever. And then they were like, well, maybe it crawled on you because you were spending time outside and then you brought it into the bed. And I was like, that doesn't make me feel any better. Actually, it makes me feel a lot worse.
So you're saying I'm a cockroach taxi? Is that what you're saying?
I was like, that thing is huge. I would have felt it crawl on my skimpy little cover up that I was wearing that was so light because it was so hot.
You didn't have like jeans on or something?
Absolutely not. It was not on me. It crawled up into the bed and violated my space is what it did. Baby never woke up. A miracle.
Wow. That is a miracle because I've heard the volume that you get when you're panicked.
Thanks. But yeah, validly so during this moment. And
you
then
deserve to be loud. That is horrifying.
it was so gross. And then we're just like sleeping with a sheet and the fan's blowing on us. So I can feel the sheet, like tickle me and move.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like laying there now, like paranoid. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, no, every touch that I'm feeling is upsetting me actually right now. I don't feel safe.
Hyper aware
of everything touching me right now.
Ooh.
So that's my fun little cockroach story from Mexico. I survived a cockroach.
Wow. Hey, you're probably a stronger woman for it.
Thank you. I've grown. I've grown from this experience.
You survived turbulence and a cockroach.
Wow. I deserve an award.
I should make you some like little Girl Scout patches, and one has a giant cockroach on it. The other one is just a plane.
Hey, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. All the fears I've conquered.
Wow. When we saw some creepy crawlies in Thailand. There was like, we never found it, but in our room there was something on the wall that fell to the floor. We searched for it forever.
Little gecko?
Couldn't find it. Couldn't find a gecko. I was like convinced it was a huge spider. But
That's
yeah,
scary. We saw a lot of geckos. They make a lot of loud noise, but they're cute.
They are cute. They're not creepy. No. Anyway, should we do City of the Week?
Oh my God, let's do that real quick. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh my God, you guys, bringing it to home. It is Eugene, Oregon.
Hi, homies.
Hey.
We see you.
I'm pretty sure we called them out last week and was like, why don't you represent? And then they
did.
We're like, don't call me out. I will. So, Eugene, it's you this week.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Any new listeners?
Locals. We did have a girl at work, Britt. Hey, Britt. She was like, hey,
Oh
I
my God.
listened to your podcast and it was really funny. And we were both like, ew, shut up. Don't talk to me.
I know. I was like, don't look at me right now.
I'm so embarrassed.
so embarrassed.
We get so awkward if anyone ever approaches us about the podcast.
It's funny and fun. It's fine.
We love it, but we're also horrified because,
We don't know how to react, so I just laugh nervously.
yeah, because we're so embarrassed of ourselves.
Yep.
Anyway, that's that. Yay, Eugene. And I don't think we have anything else to say. So I'm
No.
going to say good up.
And good night. Okay, credits is wikipedia.com, Crime Junkie podcast, and That's Why We Drink podcast, episode 68, Investigation Discovery channel on YouTube. Our music is by Broke for Free and Matt Edwards, and we're edited by Michael.
All right, you guys, you know the drill. All right, Anxious and Afraid the Pod is our handle for both our Facebook page and the group, along with our Instagram and Gmail.
We're also on Twitter at AA the Pod.
You can support us at patreon.com/anxious and afraid. You get some cool perks, ad-free episodes. You get a release a day early. You get a sticker. You get a shout out.
We also have some cute, fun merch if you're interested in that. I always recommend buying a size up in men's. And you can find all of that listed in our episode notes and our website, which is really cute. And that's anxiousandafraid.com. Check it out.
You can also support us for free by leaving a rate and review. And please subscribe and tell your friends.